Conservative New Media viewers and Jeremy Lin fans around the world, we've got a recap of what J-Lin had to say during today's Shootaround before tonight's game against the Los Angeles Lakers in Southern California. So let's get right to it. Now, let me just tell you, in the video description below the video player, we will put a link in there so that you can check out video of what J-Lin had to say for yourself. Here's what he said. He said it was nice to know that this year he was coming in and he had a job as opposed to last year, when he was sleeping on the brother's couch and had to worry about whether he would have a job, whether he was going to get cut, etc. He said that the Houston Rockets organization has been very good about helping him adjust to moving to Houston and just getting used to the community, etc. He said that the chemistry of the team and his own personal chemistry with James Harden, a.k.a. Beard, is getting better. He said it was definitely an adjustment for him to be playing without the ball in his hands more, but they're getting there. He said we're learning more each game. He said it's still a feeling out process about who's going to be handling the ball more and more. They're kind of learning, he and Beard, about how to share the ball. Just for some of Lin's fans, I know we've talked about this a number of different times, but here's a direct quote from J-Lin about Beard. Quote, "He's not a selfish player at all," unquote. I've said that before about James Harden. He's not a selfish player. I know it looks like he's trying to do everything himself right now, but I think that's because that Jeremy is not back up to full speed with his knee and just with his confidence. He said a reporter asked him if he had talked to Royce White on the telephone or via text. Jeremy Lin said, yeah, he did do that, but he didn't want to go in the specifics. Just kind of out of respect, just kind of wanted to keep that conversation personal. Royce White is going through some tough times. He has an anxiety disorder, and there's been a little bit of back and forth between White and the team. So he was asked if he had kept in touch with Mike D'Antoni, the new coach of the Lakers, who is coaching his first game tonight for LA. He said, yeah, have stayed in touch with Mike D'Antoni since Mike D'Antoni left New York, and it'll be great to see him tonight. Now, this was really important. We know about the controversy because Kelvin Sampson, the acting head coach for Houston, did not play J-Lin in the overtime against the Portland Trailblazers. Here's what Jeremy had to say about that. He was asked about that. Is everything cool, et cetera, et cetera? And he said, quote, "We trust each other. We trust the coaches," unquote. I thought that was a great comment. You're not going to get Jeremy to say, oh, yeah, I should have been in and blah, 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 blah. No, he did what he should have done as a leader and taking responsibility. It's like, look, you have to respect the chain of authority. You have to respect the coaches. You have to respect their decisions. Now, did Jeremy want to be in the game? Probably so. Someone asked him, were you surprised you weren't in? And he kind of took a second to think about it, but he gave, I thought, was a good answer. And he was like, look, I was rooting for the team in overtime. I wasn't in. Got to root for the team, and hopefully things go well. And he said, you have to go with the coaches. He said that Coach Sampson wanted to use Tony Douglas on defensive possessions and use Jeremy on the offensive possessions, but you can't really do that like you might be able to do it in football because it doesn't work that way in basketball. You're playing both ends back and forth. He was asked if D'Antoni were still the coach in New York, would he, Jeremy Lin, still be in New York? He said maybe, not sure, but he said it was a management decision, meaning above Coach D'Antoni, the GM, the ownership, etc., is what he was inferring, I believe. He was also asked because in a recent article he had said that he kind of went into a shell because of Lin's sanity, and somebody asked him about that, and he's just like, look, there was so much happening so quick, I just didn't know how to deal with it. I mean, this guy went from being at the end of the bench to everywhere. His face was everywhere. He was an instantaneous global icon. He said, just kind of mentally shut it down. Just saw my family and my closest friends so I could just kind of deal with it and handle it. And then finally he said that when he thinks back to Linsanity 1.0, just thinks about how fun it was. It does not think about, oh, it was stressful or my face was everywhere. Just kind of like, look, I thought it was great. We had a lot of fun. Thought about the team rides on the planes and the buses. Thought it was great. So that's the wrap up. That's what Jeremy had to say. Now the game's going to be coming on about an hour or so. We'll be covering that, of course. Houston is 4-5. It would be great if they could get a win tonight against LA. I think it's going to be tough. LA is playing a lot better than they were under head coach Mike Brown. What we'll see. I do think that Houston has the style to give Los Angeles problems, meaning Houston likes to run. And LA is an older team, and they run pretty well, but not as well as Houston does. So we will be watching that game, and we will be talking to you soon. Okay, give us your comments below about what J-Lin had to say here. Thumbs up, thumbs down on this video. Of course, we encourage you to come and join the Conservative New Media Facebook group, over 2,000 members and growing. You'll find a link for that in the video description. I am Paul F. Villarreal, the NBA expert. You're watching Conservative New Media. We strive to be the #1 YouTube fan channel for all news and information about Jeremy Lin. Thanks a lot for watching. We will talk to you shortly after the game.